Learn how to create map layouts and add tables to your layout in ArcGIS Pro. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel for another tutorial. Before you continue to watch, please take a moment to hit subscribe below if you haven't already. So today we continue our ArcGIS Pro series and we'll be learning how to create layouts and add tables to your layout. In my last tutorial, we created labels with multiple lines and hatched symbols. So you can check that out at the top of this video right now. Anyhow, let's get into today's topic. So as I mentioned, we will be creating a layout in ArcGIS Pro with the typical map elements, which includes a map frame, a title, a legend, north arrow, scale, some citation text, neat line, and an inset map. So we launched ArcGIS Pro and I already opened my project and prepared my symbols and labels. I have a couple tutorials already on getting started with ArcGIS Pro. So if you're not this far into Pro yet, then no worries. You can check out my playlist of ArcGIS Pro tutorials so far at the end of this video. We go to insert a new layout. I could add an existing layout. So for instance, if you created map templates that you currently use in ArcMap, you could import it here now and begin to use it in ArcGIS Pro. Once the blank layout is created, we go back to insert and we put in our map frame, aka our data frame. I select the drop down at map frame to do this. The map frame button is only available in layout views. So I changed my mind and now I want to change my orientation. So I go to the layout tab and find and change my orientation there. I add a north arrow and a scale. A metric scale to be more precise. If you have multiple map frames, you can always change the frame for which your scale represents in the scale properties. I want to adjust a few things on my scale, like the text appearance. I'm going to insert a legend and draw where I want this legend to go. I like that I can do this here. I also want to adjust a few properties on my legend. By default, the legend title doesn't show up, but you can change that in the legend properties. I'm going to set it back because I prefer my legend without the title. You can comment below if you prefer yours with the title. I also want to make sure I'm only showing the features that are visible in my current extent, and I want to change the appearance of the text as well. Just a note, you can find your most recent text at the top here. Now I want to add a title to my map. So I insert text and type in my title. You could go to the text symbols and check out the symbols available here. I select one of these and I want to center my title above my map frame. I could right click to add guides, but really ArcGIS Pro is good at providing auto guides, so to speak. So I don't usually draw guides in ArcGIS Pro, but I still do in ArcMap. You can see the table of contents being populated with all the map elements so far. So now I want to add a second map frame to act as an inset map with an extent indicator. I go to map frame and insert that here. I also right click in the frame and select activate, as I want to make sure my extent covers a large area, but now that I think about it, it didn't need to be this large. I adjusted the scale a bit and I actually went back to turn off the base map and instead used something much simpler. But just to remember, to get back to your overall layout view, you need to select that back to layout button at the top. Also change the background in my map frame, as a plain white background isn't sufficient. You can change the border of your map frame as well to something that may pop a bit more. As mentioned, I want to add an extent indicator for this map. But when I do, it's literally a black dot because that's the default symbol. I want to make it stand out a bit more, so I change the color and the offset properties so that that box, that extend indicator box, it expands a bit more. I add dynamic text to my layout, which is my current date and time, and some more citation text like who it was created by and some coordinate system information. Now, as you can see, everything that we're adding, as I mentioned before, is a part of the layout's table of contents. So we can turn them on or off as we please. So no more moving elements off the layout to add something new. In Pro, we could just add that something new and turn off what we don't need, which is fantastic. I think this is the best part of Pro. For me personally, I don't have to move the elements. I could just turn them off. I want to add a table to my layout, as I said before. So I select my layer from my table of contents. And by the way, this is a dynamic table, which means that as your extent changes, so too will your table and its records. And that's really cool. I really like this about Pro. This is with the latest release of Pro. You could also add standalone tables as well. I will also add a picture with my logo. So now I change my orientation again, and I also group my elements. You see, everything is being recorded or saved in the table of contents. So even when I group my layers, that's being saved as an element. That's so cool. I just added a rectangle around my elements to act as a neat line, and I have to reorder it so it's under everything else. Otherwise, it will always be selectable first since it's at the top. But I don't want that, so I reorder it so that it's at the bottom. So now my map is ready to be printed or exported, and I want to export my map to a PDF. I could make it password protected, but I won't at this time. So I want to export my layers and features so that they can be turned on or off in a PDF viewer. Let's export. Whoa, that did not just happen. And guess what, guys? I did not save. So all that was just lost. No! Let this be a lesson to you all. Save, save, and save. If it's one thing I want for a future ArcGIS Pro update, it would be the ability for Pro to autosave. Comment down below if you agree. I'm not exactly sure why it crashed, but I did the export later on another map and it worked fine. So I can't say for sure why that happened. And I'm using a pretty powerful desktop. But anyhow, you live and you learn. So today we created our layout in ArcGIS Pro, but unfortunately didn't save it. In the next ArcGIS Pro tutorial, we'll focus on sharing to ArcGIS Online and downloading from there as well. As usual, thank you so much for watching, and please don't forget to like, Subscribe and share this tutorial with a friend or colleague who you believe would benefit from this information. Also, leave a comment down below to let me know how you like the tutorials or if you have other tutorials that you would like to see. Thanks again and see you next time.